Hello, honorable judges, members of the community. My name is Jacob. I'm the team facilitator. Today I'm joined by Andrew, one of our recorders, G1, our other recorder, Clement, our presenter, and Joey, our team organizational lead. So, thank you guys for coming out today, and I hope you guys enjoy our presentation.
So together we make Team Astro because our ambition is astronomical. So, right off the bat, we realized that there are a plethora of issues that we could possibly target. So to focus our vision, we decided to do a little research into the city of Langley area. So what we did, as you can see from Joey, is we took a stack of surveys and we asked people on their opinions on how important certain topics were. From this research, we were able to identify three main priorities, these being the environment, followed by efficiency, and last but not least, inclusivity. Now, for our judges, we've compiled some of our research into a convenient little handout that you can refer to while we present. But just to clarify, all our solutions will be based in the city of Langley area. With that being said, I'd like to hand it off now to Andrew to talk more in depth about what we found in our research.
All right, so we found that 52% of emissions are from vehicles and another 41% are from buildings. From our survey results, we found that survey respondents have a high prioritization of public transportation, specifically buses. However, these buses are one, have a tendency to be late, and two, are prone to short notice cancellations. Now, we know this is outside of Langley City's jurisdiction. However, with the technology we propose today, we hope to improve this system in the future. Now, for unheard voices, communities such as the LGBTQ or indigenous communities are undermined. An example of this is the Hunkaminam language, which currently has 0 speakers and is an endangered language.
Now, if you allow me to bring your attention back to this map, which I showed you earlier, notice those 3 little sections that aren't colored in red, emphasis on little. These are the Matsqui, Kwantlen, and Katy preserves respectively. These are entire nations that have been reduced to neighborhoods. We'll address this issue later when we discuss how we plan to respect the traditional lands more, but for now, I'll hand it over to G1 to talk about the environment.
Thanks, Clement. So we'll share about our vehicle emissions later, but for now we'll focus on the buildings regarding the emissions. So conventional materials such as concrete, cement, and glass windows, they contribute to 11% of the global CO2 emission. And not to mention that these materials are increasing in price. To solve this issue, we're going to be using low carbon building materials. These are materials that produce low carbon footprints. As you can see from our renders, all of our future projects, construction projects, will be using low carbon building materials. Now let's take a look at some examples. So we have mass timber, we have transparent solar panels, and finally we have strong wood aerogel. And if you remember from our renders, there are a lot of glass windows. This was actually meant to represent our transparent solar panels, which allow buildings to produce at least some of its own energy. So an existing manufacturer of these materials is Kabrikri. Kabrikri is an upcoming company founded in Montreal that developed an eco-friendly substitute for concrete. Kabrikri is still in its early development stage, as you can see from the proof of concept here. But the tests have shown that for every 1 kilogram of Kabrikri that is implemented, 2 kilograms of CO2 emissions are avoided. In addition, a further 1 kilograms of CO2 is absorbed during the curing process. Now, Jacob will be talking about the future mapping of the city of Langley.
All right, I'm sure you guys have probably heard plenty about the 50-minute city concept, but just to reiterate, it's basically the idea that anything you need is located within 15 minutes of you. So now, if you take a look at the map of Langley right now, we have residential down here, commercial here, industrial up here. It's not very ideal if you live down here and want to go shopping. You can't, of course, take a car. So options really walk or bike. To call this, we propose something we call community hearts, which are located here, here, and here. These community parts will be a place where people can get their children taken care of, go shopping, and get a bite to eat. Now, this implemented hope to take cars off the road and encourage people to maybe walk or bike instead of just hopping in the car and going. Now, to talk about more about how to move around in Langley, here's Joey to talk about V2X.
All right, thank you, Jacob. Now, to improve the efficiency of our transportation system, we'd like to incorporate a technology called V2X. V2X stands for Vehicle to Everything. Essentially, it is a network that allows vehicles on the road to communicate with anything it affects or can be affected by. V2X improves our future landing in 3 major ways, this being road safety, travel efficiency, as well as energy saving. But how does V2X work? Let me give a quick example. Now, how did you get here tonight? Did you drive? Were you stopped by a red light? Imagine that as you're driving up to this red light, it turns green just for you. What happened there is that V2X allows the traffic light to know exactly how far you are and when the optimal time it is to turn green. Or how about let's imagine that as you're driving home from this venue tonight, you get a notification telling you there's an emergency vehicle in the area. Now, because you're able to move out of the way in advance, this allows the emergency vehicle to pass through safely and efficiently. This secures the health and safety of our residents, as well as decreasing emission due to more efficient travel time. And now I'd like to pass it on to Jacob to talk about our fuel consumption.
All right, hydrogen fuel cells. I kind of think they're kind of like magic, because you can power an entire city just with water. So some benefits of hydrogen fuel cell over lithium-ion batteries is that they're 1,000 times more power dense, as well as they not require lithium cobalt to operate. So what's the main barrier to hydrogen fuel cell adoption? Well, one issue is cost. When using hydrogen fuel cells, you want to utilize green hydrogen. This is a hydrogen that comes from renewable energy sources such as water, hydro, or solar power. So, however, the IEA stated by the year 2050, green energy, or green hydrogen, will be cheaper than gray hydrogen, which is hydrogen produced by fossil fuels. Now, because this barrier overturned, we hope to see it being implemented in public transport systems such as buses, cars, and heavy-duty vehicles. Now let's switch the conversation from technology back to the people. Here's Andrew.
All right, to improve diversity and inclusivity, we first would like to host more community building events, such as powwows or pride parades. This will allow these communities to express themselves to a much larger audience. Secondly, we would like to decolonize colonial names such as Douglas Park or Portage Park into indigenous names to reflect the land they reside on. Lastly, we would like to respect traditional territories. How do we do this? Through language, specifically Hunkaminam. With consultation from Sesmalot, an indigenous language educator, we propose that we put both English as well as Hunkaminam language into our street signs. Also, we would like to introduce indigenous language courses at a secondary level into our public school system. Now, I will pass it off to Joey to wrap up our presentation.
All right, thank you, Andrew. To summarize, our future landing will have three main priorities, these being environment, efficiency, as well as inclusivity. We hope that within the next couple of decades, the solutions we proposed today will come to fruition. I really hope that you're listening to our ideas today. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you for listening.